Welcome to the USRL Nationwide Series Race 6 here at the Texas Motor Speedway. We are here at yet another mile-and-a-half track on the schedule. And this race was supposed to be scheduled last week, but due to iRacing connectivity issues, aka server failure, we are here this week. And probably the biggest field in the history of the USRL. Thank you guys for coming out here tonight. And this race is also $5 to win, so there's a lot on the line in this race.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of people look at $5, they think, that's nothing. $5 is nothing. Take that back. $5 can pay for a lot of your iRacing subscription. Bring in a couple $5 races, and that pretty much pays for your iRacing subscription, and all you have to take care of is your tracks, and that's a one-time purchase, and after that, you've got your subscription paid for just off of league races.
And while we're watching Larry Scott go around in his sweet paint scheme, $5 can also buy you a paint scheme too, so many benefits to just one $5 bill. Just finishing up qualifying here, a couple of cars still yet to go, but the current pole sitter is Jeff Ramsden. In Austin Dodge, who's currently on the track, turns in a 30.275. That puts him 21st overall, so probably not the qualifying lap he wanted. And the next car on the track is the number 23 car of Brandon Hoff. He was your overall leader in practice, so we'll see what kind of lap he can set down here as he gets through 1 and 2 beautifully.
He really dove it into 1 and 2, and he's got a great run going down the backstretch. He dives into turns 3 and 4, gets about half a car off of the bottom, keeps the momentum up, and he's going to come up off the bottom of the corner, get right up next to the wall, carry on the front stretch, and he comes across the line with a 29.541. That will be enough for the pole. For now.
For now, as you can say, but I think qualifying is pretty much over. We might have one more car that might be able to register a time, and it's our point leader, Cody Wenzen, at number 35. As he dives it down into 3 and 4, he's got a good lap going here. We'll see what Cody can do here to determine his starting position for the night. And it's a 30.019. That's going to put him 18th overall, so Cody will have a long ways to go here in tonight's event.
And you've only got 83 laps to do it tonight, so starting up front might just be one of the big keys here. But even with 83 laps, there is so much that can happen.
Well, Steve, obviously it's going to be a very short race tonight, 83 laps, not much longer than a regular B-Open race here at iRacing. What do you think will be the biggest key in tonight's race?
Honestly, I think the biggest key, as always, is making sure your car is all together when it comes down to it. The biggest thing was starting towards the front because you don't have to work around people. But the biggest thing is once you get to the front, you have to make sure you have the car at the end. Because Texas can get pretty slick, and you run out of space quickly when you get in a big group of about 6-7 cars. If someone slips up, that could be the whole pack taken out.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, this is the USRL's biggest field of the entire season. Remember, it is an open league, so every single week, you and your buddies can sign up and join. In fact, you don't even need to sign up. All you need to do is join through the hosted section in iRacing, and you can get in on this amazing action that comes on and is always great to see on Saturday nights here. And it's the 6th round tonight. Our current points leader, Cody Wenzen, comes in here. And, I mean, he's going to start 18th overall, but he's definitely got a fast car under his belt. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do in tonight's event.
Winning is not always the most important thing. Getting those top fives will get you to the points lead as long as everyone else is not as consistent as you. If you get a couple wins, it really propels you to the front. And if you can back those up with top 5 after top 5, you're pretty much guaranteed a good finishing position in the final point standings at the end of a season.
And as the cars roll off, we'll give you tonight's full starting lineup. And obviously, as you saw in full, in tonight's event will be the number 23 car of Brandon Hoff, and to his outside will be the number 2 of Jeff Ramsdale. In the next row, we'll have Ethan Lane in the Goodyear, in Mr. Good Wrench, Dale Earnhardt car. He'll be starting 3rd, ironically in the number 3. Coincidence? I don't think so. And then starting 4th will be Joshua Gordon. Starting 5th in tonight's event will be Nathan Rowan. To his outside will be Michael Bradley.
And starting in 7th on that inside line, we've got the number 51 of John Ellenberg. On his outside, we've got the number 81 of Pedro Oliveira. In 9th, we've got Adam Jackson in the number 38. Rounding out the top 10, we've got the number 84 of Larry Scott Jr.
Rest of the cars include Jay Dare, Nick Alessi, David Gavaza, Jake Bullen, Scott Sons, Nick Lancaster, Jonathan Hernandez, Cody Wenzen, as we've mentioned before, Daniel Del Rio, Sean Harris 2, Brandon Smizer, John Allridge, Austin Dodge, Travis McDaniel, Eric Miller, Bradley Robinson, Rusty Farrell, and I believe the last car in this race is Brian Broderick. Pace car pulls off to the attention of Brandon Hoff, and he is gone. We are racing.
The 23 of Brandon Hoff immediately jumps to the lead, and Jeff Ramsdell to the bottom line in turns 1 and 2. Everyone sorts their stuff out, and we've got a 3-car breakaway, but that might not last very long.
Yeah, 3 cars get out to an early lead. They look to pull about a half a second on the 4th place car, which is Joshua Gordon. It looks like, for the most part up front, they're single file.
And at a place like this, things can spread out so fast because you've seen in qualifying, there was a huge difference in lap times. You've got the guys that were running 29 5s and 6s, and then you've also got people that are just breaking the 30 mark. So things are going to be spread out tonight, and you're going to have to really work up the field if you want to improve your position.
Already starting to see some of that spread out. It's hard, and the car back in the back of the field, hard in the wall, trying to pick out the number. But that car is one of the cars down there is destroyed, trying to figure it out. I believe that was David Gavaza, and we are under our first caution of the evening.
That was definitely a hard hit for him.
I just don't get that. He looks like he might have got loose. No, he comes off turn 2 and smacks the wall, and it looks like that propels his car to the inside line. Remember, this backstretch is not big at Texas, so all he met was a hard inside wall, and his car was pretty much done. And also to note, I guess, looking back at that, it looks like a couple guys behind him as well hit the wall. Maybe might have watched that car go in the wall and might have got distracted. But still, at the same time, a hard wreck for the number 39 of David Gavaza, and his race is going to end pretty early here tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's killer. No matter where you qualify, no matter where you start, getting out of the race, no matter what, within the first 5 laps, it's killer. You practice most of the week, you get your hopes up, and then they are crushed.
Looks like the only taker on pit road in the top 5 is going to be the number 3 of Ethan Lane. He will surrender the 3rd spot to come down pit road. I don't quite get this call because the leaders only went about a lap and a half on the tires and the fuel load that they had to start the race, and I see Ethan Lane, but then I see all the way back to, I believe it was 13th is Pedro Oliveira. He was the next car in, so I guess a couple guys just getting them fresh new tires might be just wanting to hang in the back at the first part of this race. See, this is the 31 of Austin Dodge, gets the wave around, but looks like the 19 of John Aldridge was the other car, I believe, that I saw in the background that got into the wall, and I believe he was on pit road for repairs there. And, I mean, that's just so key, especially in a race like this at Texas, where you got a long ways to go still. You want to keep that car clean at all costs, and the last thing you want to do is pound the wall early on.
Or pound anything for that matter. Another car, the wall, anywhere. Your car needs to be in one piece if you want to get the win.
And, well, while we're watching these cars pace, we will take our first commercial break. You're watching the 6th race of the USRL Nationwide Series. Welcome back to round 6 of the USRL Nationwide Series as we are 1 to go, getting ready to get the green flag. Nothing's changed up front. Your leader is still Brandon Hoff. And it'll be interesting to see here as you got guys like Ethan Lane and Pedro Oliveira who came in on this past caution and relinquished their at least front part of the field running order, and they're now far back in that field, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do throughout the course of this race. Pace car pulls in, Brandon Hoff's gone at the gun, and we are racing.
And we see a repeat of what we saw that first restart. Brandon Hoff just got a great jump there, and Jeff Ramsdell, the only thing he can do is just drop right in line. Everyone else from there is left to sort it out, get in line, and hope for the best.
Front two cars look like they've got about half a second back to Josh Gordon. Seems like the two Mustangs pull out to a decent lead on the restarts, which isn't surprising considering that Ramsdell has the draft of Brandon Hoff, and that's all it takes to reel in the car in front of you, at least with this car.
Yes, definitely. Believe it or not, Texas is a place where draft can play a very nice hand in your hand, a card in your hand, because in the corners that draft will actually keep your momentum up, and when you're the lead car with no draft, the guy behind you gets the draft and can suck right up to you because he basically does not have to let up hardly at all in these B cars.
Yeah, you can see just a perfect example there. Jeff Ramsdale gets up on the back bumper of Brandon Hoff and dives it down into turn 3 and is looking for the lead. They're side by side down the front stretch, and we'll see who's got the advantage in the turn.
They're rocking it side by side with Checkered Flag Interactive on the hood. Brandon Hoff will let him by, pull in behind him, and Jeff Ramsdale will take the lead down the backstretch.
See Josh Gordon, he was able to use the draft too and get right up to the back bumper of Hoff, and Brandon Hoff looks like he almost got dumped there. I think Josh let off a little bit to let him in, and now we got a 3-car breakaway for the lead.
A little bit of bump drafting on that front stretch as Brandon Hoff caught the grass. It is not lawn mowing time. You got to get on the apron, buddy. Or on the pavement.
Yeah, these cars especially, I know what Jeff Ramsdale's feeling up there for sure. You get out there in front of everybody, it's good in the draft, but you get out there as the lead car, breaking the wind, it definitely makes you loose, and I think Jeff's doing a great job here holding on to the lead, and these top 3 cars look to be the people to beat so far in tonight's race, that's for sure.
But it's never too early to count out John Ellenberg and Larry Scott Jr. They're in the top 5 as well, and they're not that far back. Just a slight mistake, and they could be right up there.
Yeah, they're a part of the several drivers tonight making their USRL debut as we now have a new battle for the lead. Brandon Hoff to the inside, looking for the lead on Jeff Ramsdale, and he can get it with ease.
And Jeff Ramsdale made a very risky move there. He let off to get onto the bottom line, basically cutting the 11 of Joshua Gordon off. Gordon got up to his bumper, almost gave him a tap, and that could have been a big wreck if he wouldn't have checked up like he did.
Yeah, that's the second car Josh has had to check up for. I guess he's being really generous early on in the race. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if he switches his mind on that one as this race progresses, though, so we'll have to see now as these cars are pretty much equal lengths in front and behind of each other as it's still a 3-car race.
And looking back through the field, almost everyone is separated in little packs, and we've got a little bit of double file racing. And we've also got some people getting loose back there. So right now, the guys in the back, they are struggling a little bit with the handling on their cars, but the guys up front, they are locked in and they are flying around this place.
Yeah, I got a quick update. Cody Wenzen, who started 18th, is currently 13th, so he's gained 5 spots since the start. And Ethan Lane did start the race in the back half of the field on that last restart because he pitted. Is up to just around 15th. I believe he's looking underneath the 75 of Rusty Farrell for the 14th spot, so Ethan is coming in a hurry so far.
And looking towards the front, Joshua Gordon moves into second place. He's right on Brandon Hoff's bumper, looking low. He's going to make the move. Brandon Hoff's going to let him by. He will have the lead probably coming across the start-finish line.
Yeah, it just looks like the waiting button got turned off. There's Gordon, a crossover attempt by Brandon Hoff. They are going at it early on.
Contact between Jeff Ramsdale and the 11. The 11 collects it up on that high side. That could have been bad right there. Wow.
Great save.
and it looks like we had some trouble on the racetrack. We also had a little bit of technical difficulty. Our audio program we used to do the commentating has crashed on us. We are working on getting into a different server for that. We should get that up very shortly, but we did see a crash on the racetrack. I believe that was the number 2 machine of Jeff Ramsdell. He went around, so that could be quite the impact here, as he was running second at the time, I do believe.
And we've sorted out those technical difficulties. We apologize for that. But just before that caution was happening, we were seeing some amazing racing up front, that's for sure. And that was one crazy battle for the lead. Yeah, it looks like the 51 of John Ellenberg and Jeff Ramsdell just get together there in the trial, and I think that's just the effect of that little kink you see at Charlotte and at Texas, and even someone at Atlanta as well, that it's not a complete circular trial. There is a little bit of a kink in between that straight that is part of the start-finish line, and I think John and Jeff just kind of misjudged that, and good thing none of those guys hit anything, that's for sure.
Well, I know from experience that going through the kink at a lot of tracks, actually, even Las Vegas and the ones where it's circular, your car kind of drifts up, and when you look at the guy on the outside, it just makes it worse, and sometimes you just find yourself drifting up as he's coming down to stay off the wall, and then you find yourself together, and then one of you or both of you are going around, and I think that's exactly what happened right there. They just drifted up and drifted down right into each other.
Yeah, it looks like Brandon Hoff up there coming off pit road. I believe he will be our leader, but I'm actually the 27 of Jay there. I believe he actually missed his pit stall there, so we'll see if he ends up coming around and pitting it again. But if he does, Brandon Hoff will become your leader again, and Larry Scott Jr. looks like he will be second.
I will be surprised to see the 27 stay out here with about 20 laps on your tires. The way they wear here, give it about 10 laps, you'll be on equal ground, but for that first 10 laps, you are just trying to catch up, trying to keep your car under control, and everyone else is going to be going around you. As you saw, he did dive down pit lane, and he will get some new tires there.
Yeah, I think that's a good call by Jay. It's still early. Obviously, working only lap 21 of 83. You got a long ways to go still. So, I think a good call by Jay there again. And while we are pacing, I guess we'll take this chance to do an interview here. And I believe we have caught up with the driver of the number 2 in Jeff Ramsdell. All right, Jeff, and take us through what just happened there.
I don't know, I thought I just got turned, but I didn't see the replay. The 51 said I came down. I can't really know exactly what happens unless I see it.
Yeah, when you go to tracks like Texas and Charlotte, you get that little bit of a kink in the front stretch, and that can really throw off a driver's perspective, and it's kind of just a human instinct to see you have room, but the kink forces your car up, as Steve said earlier. And looks like you two just kind of met in the middle there and touched. But you did a great job of holding on to it there. And we still have a long ways to go here. So what's your strategy now that you're back in 8th?
Hopefully I can be a little conservative and try and get back up to the front without trying to push too many issues and not put myself in too much of a bad situation too early. See if I can get back up there and race Hoff for the lead again.
Alright, cool, and I know as we go later into this race, you kind of get the strategy call kind of factor that plays in. Do you plan on trying 2 tires tonight, and if so, how do you think that will affect your car?
I've got someone trying 2 tires and see how that'll work out for him. It does feel a little bit tight, so maybe 2 tires would be the way to go if we don't get too long of a run. Maybe it'll make it more better to drive on.
Alright, awesome as always. Thank you, Jeff Ramsdale.
And we come back to the field as they are doubled up. The lights on the pace car are off. Everyone is ready to go racing green one more time here. Lap 22 coming to 23. Brandon Hoff again is your leader still here, and Larry Scott Jr. is on his outside. And coming through 4, the pace car will look to dive down pit road. It is off. The guy on the outside jumps a little bit. Brandon Hoff gets on the gas again. This time it'll be a closer restart for him. He'll get a little bit of a run going into turns 1 and 2. Larry Scott Jr. will drop in line. Almost jumped that restart there. That was close. But Brandon Hoff will hold it going through 1 and 2 on the backstretch. That number 84 is pulling up onto his bumper. You see that draft effect playing into the hand of this guy. It is crazy, the difference. You don't understand until you're on the track. When you're in the lead of any pack, the draft, it tightens your car up the way it works, and the guy behind you gets the draft, loses or gains downforce, and can just rock it around the corners. It keeps the car sped up. You don't lose as many RPMs, because every RPM that you lose is another RPM you have to gain back up, and if you don't lose them because of the draft, you can draft right up to the back bumper and fight it out. But once you pass them, you're again trading positions, and now you're fighting to keep up there. Going through 3 and 4, the number 23, Brendan Hoff, did pull away from the number 84 a little bit. It looks like Larry Scott Jr. got a little bit loose. The number 38 of Adam Jackson is looking to his inside in 1 and 2. He will be making the pass going down the backstretch. And look now, Jeff Ramsdale is catching right up to him, and he'll be in the mix within a lap or two. As you see the number 38 make the pass, Jeff Ramsdale is also going underneath of the number 84 as he gets into the wall. Again, the effect of the kink, it just drags you right into that wall. Brandon Hoff, though, has pulled over half a second on the number 38, and we'll see if that can continue, but the number 38, he is hauling. Brandon Hoff gets a little bit loose off that corner going on the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. Ramsdale is also catching Adam Jackson, so this is going to be interesting. The gap is definitely shrunken between the first 2 cars, though. Going through 4 and onto the front stretch, he is still your leader, of course, but time is shrinking between these drivers. Almost over 0.2 of a second, that lap was lost. And going through, everyone is single file pretty much in the top 10 as the field has gotten spread out quite a bit here. Jeff Ramsdale's also making the move on the number 38, looking at him. He can't quite get to his bumper, so he'll have to wait, but that gap is continuing to shrink between Brandon Hoff and the number 38 up front.
And we're back, and I'm back. We had some technical difficulties with the microphone. We've got that fixed now, and yeah, we've got a great battle for the lead here as Adam Jackson continues to close, and the number 23 of Brandon Hoff. That's yet another guy up front, though, we've seen that has a chance to win.
And looking through the field a little bit here, we've got the top 3, Brendan Hoff, Adam Jackson, and Jeff Ramsdale. In 4th, we've got Larry Scott Jr. In 5th, and the caution's out. Oh, big wreck coming out of turn 1. We've got the number 33, the number 18, and the number 48 comes into it, trying to keep it woed down, but just can't do it. The car is spinning right in front of him doing donuts, and he slides right into it.
And it looks like the number 15 of Nick Lancaster might have been the cause of that caution. Looking back, it looks like him and the number 33 of James Ross III, as you said, got together there in turns 1 and 2, and I didn't see anything there that James did wrong, but it's tough luck for the rest of those guys that got caught up in the back. As you can see, Brandon Schmeiser also got a piece of that at the end. Terrible unfortunates for all those guys.
But I definitely want to mention, thank gosh, this is Sim Racing, the number looking back at the replay. He got door slammed so hard, T-boned. It wasn't the driver's side, but if that was real life, I would definitely have seen some injuries there. That is a good thing it's Sim Racing only.
I think his car twirled at least 4 times, so a little bit of a helicopter action going on there after that hit. Definitely a hard hit for James, and that'll pretty much end his night as well. But we saw some guys in the back half get in there as well, and Brandon Schmeiser was one of them, and his front end has definitely got some damage on it, for sure.
And we're looking at the leaders right now. Everyone up front is diving down pit road, except for one driver. Getting a look at that. And it does appear to be those are lap down cars, aside from Nathan Rue, who is in the number 5. He will not come down pit road this time.
And we're also seeing the number 15 of Nick Lancaster. The cause of that caution is staying out as well. And we also have our point leader, Cody Munson, staying out here too. So we have 3 cars currently so far staying out on this caution. So this could get interesting.
Brendan Hoff there took 2 tires, definitely winning the race off pit road. The race was non-existent for the people who took 2 tires, and it looks like he was the only person to do it. So he will definitely not lose much ground. He'll be coming and lining up in 4th right now. We'll see if anyone in that top 3 does dive off, but I don't think they will. Although, Nick Lancaster better, because his car is definitely crab walking down the backstretch.
It looks like the 22 of Michael Rafferty also took 2. Check that, and he was running 9th at the time, so he's going to get to move all the way up to right beside our possible leader, Brandon Hoff, depending upon, as you said, these 3 cars. If they fit, we'll see as they come around. And it looks like Nick Lancaster is going to be the only guy he gets to come with him coming into the road. I think he will be the only one that will come down, and you're going to see this front row be Nathan Rue and Cody Winston, and they are on open tires. So this is the first official big-time strategy move in the race.
And let me tell you, I hate to see that cone knocked down, because anytime I think of the cone being knocked down, I have to remember to about a week ago, where every time I go to log into iRacing, they're picking the cone back up. So I definitely hope that we don't have any server issues tonight now.
Coincidence? I don't think so, but it could get interesting. I don't know, but obviously they're going to need to get a brand new pit entrance coming, that's for sure, as that one had some minutes. And as these cars continue to pace, we'll be taking our second commercial break. You are watching round 6 of the USRL Nationwide Series at Texas Motor Speedway. Do not turn away. We're back here at Texas and getting ready for the restart here. We have 2 cars on did not come down pit road. They are on their older sets of tires, and that is number 5, Nathan Riller, our current point leader. Cody wins, and as the base car at least, pulls off, the attention of the field goes to Nathan Riller, and he is going.
And this is definitely an interesting restart to watch as they get a little bit bottleneck halfway through that pack there. 3 wide almost going into turn 1 and 2, excuse me. But this will be an interesting one to watch for sure because the number 5 and the number 35's dropping back. The 5's in the lead right now. They are on old tires and Brandon Hoff is on 2 tires, so we'll see how everything shakes out here. We're 34 coming to 35 laps into this race, and it looks like Brandon Hoff will be just crunching down into that lead, and he'll be catching him going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, it just seems like Cody Wentz is starting second. That really didn't help his trail very much there. Sorry for the loss of words. As Nathan Rue, he's going to slide up in turns 2, and it looks like Hoff will drive it down to the inside. He's followed by Adam Jackson, the number 38, and Ethan Lane as well. They are coming for the lead.
Everybody better watch out because this is that point where you need to watch the car in front of you. One guy makes the slightest mistake and has to check up, and you'll be right on his rear end and sending him around. Jeff Ramsdell, we saw him spinning earlier. He is in the mix again in the top 5. We've got a 5-car battle for the lead as Adam Jackson almost takes the third 23's quarter panel out. Wow, that was close.
That was almost the entire field that would have wrecked there, and I guess kudos to Adam for letting off there, and we stay racing here as we're pretty much single file.
And we've seen a couple new players up towards the front. Ethan Lane, he wasn't necessarily towards the back, but he was not up front. The same with Adam Jackson in that first run. We didn't see him. And last run, he reappeared up here. He is up in the front. He's really racing it out right now. It looks like he's got a lot of speed under that hood. And Jeff Ramsdell is working on the 3 right now for that 3rd place.
Yeah, definitely. I guess Ramsdell's going for it so far. Kind of wanted to take it easy as we saw in the interview or heard in the interview, and it looks like he might just be right in here, but it's still a nice battle for the lead here as we get a 4-car breakaway. And it looks like we have a caution on the speedway.
I'm having a hard time finding it. We'll have to look through the field here. And looking back at the replay, it actually happened into the kink. We saw a few drivers get bottleneck right up towards the rear of that field right there. And the 26 ran right into the back bumper of the number 6. And he got rear-ended and sent around hard. That's definitely a chain reaction right there.
Yeah, it looks like the 26 got some kind of wall grab, and that sent his car right around, and Brandon Schmeiser had nowhere to go, and it looks like he might have lagged through him. I don't know if that's internet connection or just something wrong there, and I don't think Brandon's going to get any more additional damage from that because of that, but definitely a tough break there for Nicholas. He looks like he is done for the evening.
And these cautions early on are definitely killing the leaders because they want to race. As we see the number 23 Brendan Hoff dive down, Adam Jackson will be the car staying out right now, and it looks like he's the only car staying out towards the front right there. Everyone else will be diving down pit road. I expect to see a few guys trying 2 tires here to improve their track position because we did not run very long right there. That was only about 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, you could even see guys who took 2 tires last stop take 2 more tires this stop, so definitely strategy will play key in the rest of this races. Looks like they're all taking 4, except for one. There goes Jay Adair off pit road. He will beat Brandon Hoff off. And there's your only 2-tire call, it looks like.
And really, I think Brandon Hoff is not really hurt that bad by losing the race off of pit road because he'll be in the 2nd row on the inside as long as he restarts in 3rd. And that's not always a bad thing here. Starting on the outside can always be a tough one. If the guy in the inside row gets underneath you and blocks that line, you'll get hung out to dry like we saw last restart and end up being shuffled back through the field.
Well, on that last restart, we didn't see Nathan Rude last for long in the lead. It was only a couple laps before Brandon Hawk and Adam Jackson himself were piling on in, and eventually got around him with ease. It's now Adam who's going to be the only car up there on the older tires, or at least the 3-lap older tires, since that wasn't a very long run. So interesting to see what Adam thinks he can do. But Jay Adair, who we saw miss his pit stall last caution, is up here with 2 tires now. That's also an interesting call. And while we continue to pace, we're going to get another interview, and it's going to be with the guy who was leading this race and has been dominating for the most part, Brandon Hawk. Brandon, here you go. Your 3rd place. You got one guy on 2 tires and the other just stayed out this caution. What is your plan on this restart?
Being that I've been out front so much, I'm just going to try to get there again. Feel like car's good enough to stay out there, so I got my 4 tires, I got full tank of fuel. I'm ready to go and just try to grab the lead here.
We've seen a lot of strategy moves in this race, and I doubt we've seen the end of them. How do you feel as if 2 tires affect your car compared to 4?
For the first few laps, 2 tires really doesn't feel any different, but as you get more laps on the tires, the car gets a lot tighter, and it's hard to keep the car pinned there on the white line. So if we have a short run to the end here, 2 tires will be the way to go, but if we have about a 20-25 lap run to the end, 4 tires will definitely be better.
I know we've been talking about this earlier, how when you get in the lead, it seems like the car handles different in the lead compared to when it handles in the draft. How do you handle that transition from going behind somebody to leading the entire field?
Oh, when you're behind somebody, you just gotta be patient. Car feels better behind somebody in the draft than out front, so you just gotta be patient, get by them, and not overuse your stuff, and keep the car into you. Just, if you're fast in the car in front of you, you'll definitely get by them. Just gotta have patience.
All right, great to hear as always. That was the number 23 of Brandon Hall.
Alright, thanks, guys.
As they double up on the backstretch here, the lights on the pace car are once again off. Everyone's ready to go green once again. This time we've got Adam Jackson and Jay Adair inside and outside, with Brandon Hoff on the inside in the 2nd row, Ethan Lane on the outside. It's almost time to go green again here at Texas Motor Speedway.
And we are just halfway this time by, or that last time by actually, so it seems like one part of the race is done, a whole new part begins. And now I think it's crunch time for many of these guys, especially who have been hanging in the back. Might be their time to go as the pace car pulls on. Adam Jackson leads him down and he is gone.
And again, what I said right before we went green there, the number 23 Brandon Hoff starting on the inside row definitely played into his hand there. He was able to jump right underneath of the number 27, and now he's in 2nd and closing on Adam Jackson, who is on older tires, so this might be a good time for him to make that pass. But don't look now, Jeff Ramsdell's right on his bumper.
Yeah, he's bringing Jeff Ramsdell and Ethan Lane with him, at least for the most part, as Hoff will dive it down in there. Adams, no match on the older tires, and Jeff Ramsdell's going to follow him.
And that is exactly what he wanted to happen right there. It couldn't have went any better for him. Adam Jackson's going to be stuck on the outside as almost gets clipped on the inside by Ethan Lane. Wow, that was close.
I think Ethan got a little bit greedy there, wanted to take something that wasn't there and had to lift, unfortunately. He's getting shuffled back as Jay Adair on the 2 tires goes right around him, and that's going to spread out at least from this on back. And that was just close racing for sure right there.
And we see a similar image of the 23 and the 2 out front. We saw them in the first run out front battling it out, and again we see them both up there. Similar strategies, 4 tires on that last pit stop, full tank of fuel. I think they can make it all the way from here.
Yes, indeed, they can indeedly make it from here. This league does not run a smaller fuel cell. It is the full 18.5-gallon fuel cell that is used in real life, so these cars will be able to go well over the scheduled distance in the rest of this race. But I think really, so far we're seeing through all these strategy calls, it just seems like 4 tires is the best way to go.
Well, the biggest thing, again, as I've said earlier, is those first about 5 laps when you're on fresh tires. They are the biggest ones. You can make your moves, you can gain your positions, and then after about 5 laps, the difference between 2 tires and 4 tires really starts to diminish because everyone's heated them up and they're gripped in. But those first 5 laps is where the difference really is. As we see the 23 and the 2 battling for the lead, getting really close coming off of turn 4, or turn 2, the 38 and the 3 they're sucked right up to the front. 4-car battle for the lead again. Number 3, Ethan Lane to the bottom, 38 on the outside. Jeff Ramsdell on the outside, crunching the 23 to the bottom. 23 is going to hold his position though.
Yeah, they did a cross. I think they crossed over twice, and that brought Ethan and Adam right back into the picture. It's a 4-car breakaway, as you said, for the lead. As Hoff gets into there, Ramsdell nails the right rear. He holds it straight. Everybody keeps it down, and they are battling hard here as the race nears the end.
Each lap that ticks off is another lap you don't have to worry about, but there are still over 35, 36 laps left to go here, and every single one of them is just as scary as the last if you're up front battling for the lead, because you know that you don't want to get in a wreck. You know that you got to finish this race to win it, and everyone's just giving it everything they can right now.
Yeah, it looks like the leaders are going to sort it out a little bit here, and it just seems like these 4 seem to be the dominant cars, at least in the second half. We did see a little bit of John Ellenberg up there. His car doesn't seem the same after that damage he sustained in that contact with Jeff Ramsdell. And you also got Josh Ford, who's also lurking back here. He's bringing Mark Eckert in the number 1 car as well. So still, most of these guys are not out of this race, but you got to make something happen now, at least, as this race continues to come down. As here comes Jeff Ramsdell.
And looking back through the field right now, we've got 20 drivers on the lead lap, and the last guy on the lead lap is Austin Dodge in the number 31. He's off pace with a damaged car, but everyone else in front of him, except for Brandon Smizer, he's got a little bit of damage, but everyone else, no damage, and they're racing it out all the way from 1st to 18th.
Yeah, it looks like some of these cars are just starting to sort it out, maybe try and log some laps. We are seeing the number 11 Josh Ford suck back up in this front 4 of the pack, as we call it, and that's going to bring a solid 5 cars so far with a great chance to battle it out for the lead. Really, every time you start to go up front, that's more time that you allow the guys behind you to suck back up, and I think these guys are really starting to just try and ride for the most part and try and log as many laps as
But they better not look in the mirror. The number 38's got the number 11, Joshua Gordon, making a move. We saw him up in the mix earlier as well, almost taking the lead multiple times. He is in the 5-car battle now. We've got 5 cars in a pod basically up here, and if one of them makes a mistake, the rest of them behind it will go with.
That was an awesome time to say that, because just as we saw Ethan Lane make a mistake there, and Adam Jackson and Joshua Gordon will follow right through. That's all it takes, is to make one slip, and the rest of the guys behind you, as you said, will come filing through it. They're not letting up for anything, as Adam Jackson is out here still with those little bit slighter older tires, and he gets on the apron. He was trying to overcome Jeff Ramsdell, but they slowed it up.
And Brandon Hoff right now, he is in the cat seat. He is pulling away a little bit, and I don't know if it'll last, but right now he knows for a fact that he is safe unless he screws up, which is, as we see smoke going through turn 1 and 2. No caution. Don't know what that's from. But either way, he's pulling away. He's in the cat seat as they are racing it out behind him really hard. Almost 3 wide in turns 3 and 4.
Perhaps an infield cookout. I don't know. Someone's probably cooking up the good there, as Texas always has incredible food to share. As we see Adam Jackson scrape the wall in the trial. That's certainly one of the first times I've seen that. He's going to lose at least 2 spots there. My question is how's his car after that?
Ooh, the 11 almost caught the wall again right there.
Yeah, that was really close.
And things really did spread out a little bit after that battle calmed down. A few drivers did spread out. We've got Brendan Hoff just over half a second, actually closing now Jeff Ramsdell is. So about a quarter of a second ahead of Jeff Ramsdell. And the number 3 making the move on Joshua Gordon, getting loose, catching the apron. So everyone making their moves, but they're not really gaining too much on each other right now.
Yeah, I think Josh kind of just being smart, doesn't want to battle here. They don't want to lose those front 2 cars. They've been so dominant in this race. Number 2, Jeff Ramsdell, and the 23 Brandon Hoff. You got to stop battling at some point and try and keep up with the leaders, because eventually you're going to run out of time and laps to do.
And if you battle too hard, you won't have a car to battle with. And with no car, you ain't going to get on your bicycle and run or ride your bicycle around here and win the race. You got to have 4 wheels and over 600 horsepower.
As we're seeing this field get very spread out, as we said before, Texas is known for spreading out the field in a hurry, and that's exactly what it's done. And not really any signature battles we can point out for you on the track. It seems like everybody's just trying to log laps as usual at this point in the race, because we're going to get down to it eventually soon before these guys really start pushing hard toward the end.
And right now, the number 2 of Jeff Ramsdell is again closing down on Brandon Hoff each lap just a little tiny bit. And now he's in that zone where the draft is going to just pull him right up to him. And they're going to break away. And I don't know if anyone's going to catch him in any time soon, because those 2 cars have been the class of the field pretty much all night. Either one of the 2 of them have been up front. And I also need to remember Jeff Ramsdell, he went for a spin earlier, so an impressive recovery coming up to second again.
And it looks like the number 3 of Ethan Lane is having some connection issues that could be very costly. Remember, he had to pull off electrical issues at Rockingham a couple weeks back, and the last thing he wants to do is lose another race tonight here due to another failure in equipment or something other like that. And looks like he is back. Looks like that car is not 110% up to par. That connection is definitely having problems. We'll keep you informed, but Ethan Lane's definitely having some connection issues. And now we see caution on the speed.
Hard hit between the number 22 and the number 48 on the backstretch. Hard into the inside wall. Very hard hit.
Yeah, it looks like Mike Rafferty might have just misjudged Brandon Schmeiser, who was very slow. I will give you that. To Mike's defense, Brandon Schmeiser was very, very slow off on the outside lane coming out of turn 2. And it looks like they just met in the middle off turn 2. Nowhere for them to go. And like you said, a very hard hit for Michael Rafferty. And I guess Schmeiser doesn't have anywhere to go either.
Yeah, it looks like the number 48, he just ran out of room, and the number 22 was coming with a full head of steam, had nowhere else to take it. He could have hit the brakes, but it's so hard to do it. He misjudged it, caught him, and both of them went around there.
Well, after that long run, I doubt we'll see any 2-tire or no-tire calls. Should be 4 tires. It feels we're pretty much getting down to the end of it here. When we go green, we will have less than 20 laps to go, as yes, the entire field is up there.
And we'll see how the battle off of pit road plays out here. If the number 2 can come out in front of Brandon Hoff, that'll be interesting. Each position you gain on pit road can help you out a lot here, especially once you get 4 new Goodyears and everyone is on equal stuff. That is when you can make most of your moves, and I think it'll be good to see if any one of them can beat the number 23, and it's going to be close, but nope, not happening. Brandon Hoff will lead them off of pit road once again.
Very close indeedly. It seems like timing and scoring always favors the car on the inside line, and it looks like Brandon Hoff just got the advantage there. He did clearly beat Jeff Ramsdell across the line in there, and looks like Ethan Lane is continuing to have those connection issues. That is a serious problem for him. You cannot race with a bad connection. It's too dangerous to your other competitors and to the rest of the field, and it's a tough break for Ethan there.
And those aren't just the blinking in and out issues. Those are the ugly ones where you come back and you're bunny hopping and flipping over. So I wouldn't be surprised if his night will end because of that.
And we'll take a quick commercial here as we are just inside 20 laps to go. Don't go away. We got a great finish coming for you. Welcome back to round 6 here at the USRL Nationwide Series. We are at Texas Motor Speedway, and we are getting ready for what could be the best restart of the entire season. Biggest field here tonight, biggest action, and we've got our point leader Cody Winson as the leader. He elected to stay out on that caution. It's an interesting move, definitely, and we'll see how that pays off, as not many guys have been able to make it work. But hey, you never know as the pace car pulls off. Cody Winson gets a decent jump, but they're right behind him, stacking him up behind.
Three wide going into turns 1 and 2 there, halfway through the field. Wow.
These guys have determined it is go time, and there is no holding back. No more give, it's all take. As here comes Brandon Huff with assistance from Jeff Ramsdale to the inside, side by side for the lead, and he will get it with no problem.
And you knew it wasn't going to last long because these guys are on brand new tires, and after like a 20-lap run, the number 35 has got to have some pretty worn tires as he's going to just continue to slip back. The Brandon Hoff and Jeff Ramsdale show is back on, but don't look now again. Joshua Gordon is making it move, and he's heading towards the front. Will he be able to keep along with these guys up there? They are running fast laps, and you know, with under 18, 17 laps to go, they're going to be running hard as they were earlier, and just multiply that by about 5. So, geez, these guys are really hauling out here.
Yeah, for Cody Winson, you are the point leader. The last thing you want to do is lose the points lead tonight. He's backing up in a hurry, and Pedro Oliveira sitting back there in 11th, and there he's about to meet Cody Winson. So the last thing you want to do if you're Cody is lose the points lead tonight. But also a further note to extend, Ethan Lane's internet got the best of him as he has pulled it off for the night. That is a shame. That number 3 car was looking good and running good up front, but it's definitely a tough break for me.
And things have spread out once again here really fast. 17 cars on the lead lap, but 5 seconds separating all of them right now. We'll see how long that lasts as these guys are continuing to just make some awesome laps, running 29 8s and 7s towards the front, which are almost qualifying laps for half the field right there.
Yeah, definitely flying fast, and interesting to see what these two up front can do. You do have Josh Ford lurking back there, and just not far behind him is Jay there as well, as he's been a nice sleeper who's come up into the top 5. So interesting to see what these guys can do, but you got to go now. There's no holding back.
Yeah, there's no holding back. Coming to lap 70 here, we'll have 14 to go once we complete that lap. And that's 14 laps to make your move, 14 laps to pass everyone you can, because every point counts and every position counts here. And you just want to put on the best show you can, because you're coming back next race hopefully and you're going to get the win. And right now we've still got that battle for the lead between the 23 and the 2. They're duking it out. The 2 can't quite get to him. He can't quite make a move, but he is getting closer and closer to that bumper each and every time they go through the corner.
Yeah, it looks like when Jeff does that, gets right up to the back bumper of Brandon Hoff. It got Hoff a little bit loose there, and he almost lost it off too, but a great save. But they did lose some time. Josh Ford has them in his trails. He's got that scent, that draft you need to get back up to the front. All he's got to do is execute and get the thing, and there we are under yellow. And it looks like the number 6 of Steve Mancox has gone on, has hit the wall hard.
Very hard hit for him. He hit that wall and immediately was slung down to the inside line, which blew his motor, smoking it to pit road. Hard hit, but caution is out with under 15 to go, 13.
Yeah, that's not the barbecue that you want to see, especially, and it's a tough break for Steve. But definitely now, this race just got a whole lot more interesting, because now you're looking at less than 10 laps to go when we get the green. You've got strategy on the road, you've got all kinds of things that are going to now change this race, and it's going to be who can make the right call at the end here that might end up taking home the trophy and the $5.
And I expect to see some people trying 2 tires here, because what a lot of people towards the back might be thinking, people in 6th, 7th, 8th, they're going to be thinking, well, maybe if I take 2 tires, get up to the front, maybe a caution will come out and I can somehow pull this baby off under caution. Even if it goes green for a couple laps, how many positions can I lose if I'm in the lead? Who knows what they're going to do? I expect to see Brandon Hoff, if he does pit, take 2 tires just to protect his position.
Yeah, definitely. It's most of the field at least faking or looking at it down pit road, and it looks like most of them will come. And there goes our first contender, John Ellenberg. He will stay out, and it doesn't look like there's anybody else coming behind him, so that's definitely a tough call right there. So John is going to stay out. Now the question is 2 or 4. At this point, I would think these guys are going to take 2. But you never know. You could see left sides, you could see right sides, as we got a couple guys who might have missed their pit stop. I believe Larry Scott Jr. has passed right through pit road. But as I said before, all these guys, 2 tires.
And I definitely think that was the right move to make, because you can never take that chance. You can never be too risky, especially when you're in the lead. If you take 2 tires, take 4 tires, and have someone pass you, that's a lot of cars in front of you. Even if you do have new tires, that's a car in front of you, and you can't just go straight through.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. I don't know if Larry saw that everybody came in and maybe wants to be up there in the lead. He probably didn't see John Ellenberg stay out, so we'll see what he does this time by. And also, you could see John come down pit road. I doubt it at this point. Not many laps left, but hey, I'm in the booth and they're in the racetrack making the call, so really it's the tough luck of the draw, really, at any point.
Well, you never know. It could work out okay for him. There's a chance that it won't, and it's a pretty big chance that it won't, but you never know. It could be the golden egg that you thought was the brown, nasty egg with the rotten stuff on the inside. Maybe it's golden, solid gold. He might be able to pull it off and get the win, so you never know. It might work out for him.
Yeah, we've also got the number 22, Michael Rafferty. He has got a very, very, very damaged car up here. He's second I don't know what he's doing there, but that could make this restart very interesting, especially since Brandon Hoff's going to have to line up directly behind him on the outside line. That could make things very interesting, and this is what you get when you bunch a bunch of cars up at the last 10 laps part of the race, and we are getting ready to see what could be the best finish to the USRL in the history so far of it, at least 6 races in all. And ladies and gentlemen, pull those belts tight at least one more time. I recommend more because this is going to get big.
Yeah, if you have to go to the bathroom, I suggest that you do it now. And if you're on the edge of your seat, I suggest you move towards the back of it, because this finish, it's going to be slicing and dicing time, shake and bake, whatever you want to call it. These guys are going to be making their moves, and they're going to be making it with a bold statement attached. So definitely watch for every single move out here. It's going to be a good one. We're going to go green with under 10 laps to go. It's go time. It is go time for sure. Everything has changed. Everything's been reset. You're double file. Time to go.
Should get the one to go this time, I believe we will. And there you go. Lights go off the pace car. We are 1 lap away from what will be the best restart, at least in my opinion, of the season. You've got someone out there, John Ellenberg, on no tires. You've got Michael Rafferty's out there on no tires as well, and he's got damage, and pretty bad damage it looks like, and that could check up the entire outside lane. You've got Larry Scott Jr. up here with no tires. Then you have the 2 guys who have been dominating this entire race for the most part, Brandon Hoff and Jeff Ramsdale directly behind them. You've got Adam Jackson, Joshua Gordon, they've been lurking, Mark's back there, Jay Dare. You got Pedro Oliveira, who's just outside the top 10, or at least 10th at least. And then Cody Wenzen, who's just a row behind him. So that, watching our point battle as well, but at the same time watching the battle for the lead.
And I hate to say it, but that number 22 with all that damage, that would be making me very, very nervous on that second row outside line, and everyone behind him as well. It's going to be interesting, and I'm not sure what he's thinking, because there's no way that he's going to be able to compete. But as the pace car lights are off and they are double file, it is time to go green once again, maybe for the last time tonight. Who's going to win? Who's going to be the victor? Bring home $5. The pace car is in, and the number 51 of John Ellenberg is away. The 22 ducks out high, and there we go.
Boogity, 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 we are 3 wide, coming across the start finish line, 3 wide to turn 1, and Jeff Ramsdale making the statement. He's going to slide in 3 wide to turns 1 and 2. Hoff gets screwed on the outside line, but Jeff Ramsdale's got second, and it's a battle to get to John in a huge wreck. Huge wreck in the back half of the field. They are still 3 wide coming across.
And just when you thought it couldn't get any more interesting, it did. Huge wreck. I know for a fact, unless something crazy happens, we will be going green again. And this time it'll be with even less laps, maybe 3 or 4, or even less. This is going to get really, really intense, if it wasn't already for you.
And in the back half was Michael Rafferty, and unfortunately it was also our point leader, Cody Wenzen. Nowhere to go. Looks like the 3 of those guys, including the 75 of John Farrell, kind of just met in the middle. Well, you can give or take some of that opinion. Definitely a hard break for Cody, and that car definitely does not look like it'll be able to win tonight, but he's just going to have to soldier it home at this point.
And just like that, everything again has changed. Jeff Ramsdale won't be starting on the outside row, front row, and his buddy Brandon Hoff will be starting second lane, or second row outside as well. So again, this battle is not over yet. These guys are fast. We've got guys with old tires, John Ellenberg, and then Larry Scott Jr. He's back in the mix. We saw him earlier. He's got a little bit of damage, but you know what? I don't think it's going to affect him. I think they are going to battle it out for everything they've got, and I just can't tell you yet. I don't know who's going to come across as the winner.
And if you just gave one of these guys a steering wheel, I think they'd still try and win the race, because these guys are so pumped up. At this point, we've got 6 laps to go. Under caution, we're going to have under 5 laps to go when we get the green flag. It's do or die time. Get to the line, be the first guy, at least across the line. And this is it. This is our last caution. The next flag will end the race after we get the green flag. So, yeah, excluding the white. And it's definitely going to be an interesting finish. And While these guys get all hyped up, we're gonna get hyped up too. We're taking a quick commercial break. Don't go away. On Checkered Flag Interactive. Welcome back to the round 6 here of the USRL Nationwide Series at Texas Motor Speedway. We are getting ready to go back to green flag racing with 3 laps to go. This is going to be intense. You've got John Ellenberg out there. He's got those older tires along with Larry Scott Jr. And then you got the 2 cars of Jeff Ramsdell and Brandon Hoff up top. That have been the 2 cars to beat the entire night. And they are up top. They're going to have a long way to go, having to get to the bottom and around. We'll see how this restart goes. This is the pace car. It's going to take that long turn in, and John is off at the gun.
And Jeff Ramsdell took the opportunity to dive right underneath. And, you know, with those worn tires, Ramsdell will be able to run him down. But who knows if he'll actually be able to make the move going through the corner. He's making up ground quickly, digging to the bottom of the track. Coming on the backstretch, cutting the gap down. Brandon Hoff looking under the 84, and he's trying to block him, but he's coming through. Door slam, everyone's good.
And they're going at it, no room given at all. Josh Gordon's going to try and follow that, but Jeff Ramsdell is inside the 51. That doesn't look good at all. I don't know what they're doing coming in turn 1. That could get ugly. They are looking for the lead. He's going right through it.
This is crazy. I have never seen that before, and actually not have a wreck. The 2 is inside of the 51 on the backstretch. He backs off. 23, Brandon Hoff, he's coming, but I don't know if he's got enough time. Coming to the white flag. Will Ellenberg hold off Ramsdell and Hoff? Will he catch him? Who knows? This is the last lap.
If he's going to get him, it's going to have to be off now. Here he goes, inside line. No, he hits the apron! He dumps him! Ramsdale's around! Hope's gonna get into it! We've got problems! Joshua Gordon's around! No, he's got it! Ramsdale's gonna get turned in front of the entire race! They're all wrecking!
Whoa!
Joshua Gordon is gonna come across. Oh,
Oh my gosh!
Joshua Gordon's gonna win the race! Oh my god, I lost my voice. That is absolutely incredible. Nobody's gonna make it back in one piece, but Joshua Gordon, who squeaks through the middle of that turn 2 wreck, is gonna win the race. Absolutely incredible.
I'm not sure what I just experienced quite yet. I'm still taking it in. Wow.
That has to be one of the most craziest finishes to a race ever. Wow. If I was Josh Gordon, or if I were Josh Gordon, I would burn that down till there were freaking rims on my tires. I would be so pumped up, because I know I am myself. I didn't even drive, and I'm out here freaking feeling like I won the race, because it's so freaking awesome to see something like that so close the entire night, and it ends in just amazing fashion. I mean, we go from a battle for the lead to just the entire field junked, and Joshua Gordon celebrating. And to calm ourselves down there, we'll get some interviews after the break. And you're watching round 6 of the USRL's nationwide series at Texas Motorsport. Welcome back here at Texas. We've just witnessed probably the most dramatic and insanity type of finish at Texas Motor Speedway. What turned out to be a simple wreck on Auto 2 turned out to be a huge battle to get back to the line. And we are here with Jeff Ramsdale. And Jeff, you were going for the lead there coming out of 2, and the rest just, I don't even know. Can you please explain?
Going into turn 1, I think was my only shot to get under him and hopefully get the win. But I shot it under there, and he came down so far, didn't give me enough room, and I just kept in it and ended up wrecking us both. But that's what it is, and it turned out to be a pretty big wreck. About most of the field got wrecked in that.
Pretty much the entire field, yeah.
I guess that's what happens when you get some hard racing for the win, and it doesn't work out quite well. You get a giant wreck, especially when you get a restart with like 5 or 3 to go. I was going to try and make a pass on him once before, and he blinked out and actually ended up going through his car, so I don't know what happened with him there.
Going back to that last caution, if you were to go back in time and redo it, would you have came in and took 4 tires, or would you have stayed out?
Under the last caution, I still would have stayed out since we only had, I don't even remember how many laps we had on it. I would have still stayed out.
Alright, and it's kind of hard to say, but anybody else you want to thank for tonight's efforts?
I'd like to thank Checkered Flag Interactive, Chromonic Graphics, Brendan Hoff for the great race that him and I had.
Alright, and that was Jeff Ramsdale, obviously so close yet so far in tonight's event, and that was a tough rig, especially for Jeff. And I guess we've caught up with our next interviewer. We're here in the booth with Brandon Hoff, and I know we just got done talking with Jeff Ramsdale about how his opinion was on that wreck. What was your opinion, Hoff, and what did you see?
Well, the before the wreck happened, I saw the 51 having connection issues, and he's blinking in and out, and Jeff was telling us that he was going through them, and I guess they got back solid, and I saw Jeff at the apron a little bit come up and wrecked the 51, and I saw Jeff get a little bit sideways, and I was just trying to hold it on the bottom, thinking Jeff was going to drift up, and it didn't happen, so I really had nowhere to go and got front end damage, and from there on I just saw the 11 go by, and yeah, I really had nothing to do there, and got second.
Going back to that caution when you guys came in and John Ellenberg stayed out, if you could go back in time, would you have stayed out in that situation?
It's questionable. I mean, the whole night we had about 10 to 15 lap runs, so I figured at least we'd get one. And restarting 4th, I figured, on 2 tires in the last 10 laps we would maybe go green at the end, so I was hoping maybe we can do that and, have a chance to win, but it didn't end up that way. We only had a 3-lap shootout at the end, or 3 or 4, I don't even know, and it didn't really work that way, so, oh well.
Alright, and great effort tonight, and there's anyone you want to thank that helps get that 23 car to the racetrack?
I'd like to thank CFI. You guys do a good job broadcasting every single race. I'd like to thank tonight, spotting a little bit, Chris Largen. He did a good job. Jeff Ramsdale for helping me and throughout the race. I also want to apologize to Larry Scott. I didn't mean to do that in turn 3. I know he's a little bit mad. I don't know if he's probably not watching this, but sorry to him for that. And yeah, and I also like to thank my new team, Nexus Esports, for supporting me. That's basically it. So thanks, guys, up in here. You guys do a good job.
All right, and that was Brandon Hoff. Obviously dominated, or at least was up there for most part, and just one of those guys out of the many cars in this field that got collected in that last lap wreck. And we saw a lot of dreams get crushed in turn 2, but we saw one dream get absolutely amazed, and that was Joshua Gordon. We are unable to catch up with him tonight. That is unfortunate, but he is your winner in round 6 of the USRL Nationwide Series tonight. And just want to encourage any of you watching, this is an open league. If you thought that was freaking awesome, because I know I did, you can easily join this league and come back next week and race. And get on this broadcast, which I think would just be an absolutely amazing idea to do. And I just wanted to put that out there for you. And before we wrap up, we're going to do a full field run-through. And obviously winning tonight's race was Joshua Gordon. He was able to avoid all that carnage, somehow sneaked through and got the win. Coming home second is Brandon Hoff. Had a great night, just one of those guys caught up in that last wreck. Scott Sons, Mr. Where Did He Come From? Finishes 3rd. He wasn't even near the top 10 all night, but just won the luck of the draw getting through the wreck. He finishes 3rd. Pedro Oliveira finishes 4th. Great points night for him. Riding out your top 5 is Jonathan Hernandez, another guy got through that wreck and was able to pick up 5th. Coming home in 6th was Nathan Rue. Coming home in 7th was Austin Dodge, who we saw limping around for a very long time with a damaged car. He gets a top 7. Cody Wenzen finishes 8th with a very damaged car. He was caught up in a wreck, but I guess he's lucky to still come away with a top 10. Finishing 9th is Michael Rafferty, and rounding out your top 10 is John Ellenberg. Finishing 11th in tonight's event is Jeff Ramsdell, and Adam Jackson, who was unable to get through that wreck, will come home in 12th. Finishing 13th was Jay Adair, and to his outside, Larry Scott. Finishing 15th in tonight's event was Mark Eckert and Eric Miller. Finishing 17th, who was caught up in a couple of wrecks tonight. Tough break for Rusty Farrell and Brandon Schmeiser, who we saw at least, I believe one of those cautions got some heavy front end damage. It was a tough night for him as well. Steve Mancock's going to finish 19th. He had that hard lick in the wall. Ethan Lane going to round out your top 20. He had that terrible connection issue problem. That was tough luck for him. 21st is Nick Alissi. 22nd is going to be Bradley Robinson. 23rd, Nick Lancaster. 24th, John Aldridge. 25th is going to be James Ross. 26th, Travis McDaniel. 27th, Sean Harris 2. 28th, Ryan Broderick. And rounding out your field in tonight's event was the number 39 of David Yabaza. He had that tough lap 2 wreck off of 2 that ended his night pretty early. And that was a tough for him. It was a very, very enthusiastic finish to this race. Probably the race ever in USRL's history. And I think it was definitely a pleasure to cover. And I am Shane Doherty alongside my partner Steve Bonesteel, and we covered this race tonight from Checkered Flag Interactive's booth, and we will be signing off. We'll be seeing you next week, I believe. That track is to be determined, so get involved in this league if you want to, and we'll see you next week.